Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you and a warm welcome on madhurisluxury.co. For all those who have missed the show, can watch it on my YouTube. For any queries related to real estate, art, hospitality, weddings, fashion designers, jewelry designers, wellness, mental wellness, beauty and health, you can get in touch with madhurisluxury.co. And Luxury.co is equipped with experts to resolve and advise even on areas pertaining to finance, legal investments, taxation, and chartered accountants. We are also soon going to launch an exclusive membership-based wellness program. And today we have with us Bubbles Sabharwal. So let's all welcome Bubbles Sabharwal. Luxury meets renowned theatre personality and columnist Bubbles Sabharwal. Hi, Bubbles.
Hi, Madhavi. Thank you for inviting me.
.co, pleasure. And I would just like to brief the audience a bit about Bubbles. Bubbles Sabharwal is a woman who wears many hats, a household name in the world of children's theatre. She runs Kids World with her partner Lucian Dubey. They have stage shows and musicals in schools in India and abroad and performed 150 shows in Kingdom of Dreams 2015 to 2016. With their adult theatre group, they traveled to Singapore and the States with the life of Buddha. So, Bubbles, I would like to know that how do you view theatre and how would you say it defines you?
How do I view theatre? Okay. For me, theatre is my life. Theatre is my life. It's taught me so many life lessons. It's what I teach. Lucian and me, we do workshops, we do plays. I was trying to sum it up when you asked me this question a few minutes ago. I said, I will come back to how theatre and life are parallel, but I would say that, theatre has taught me it's not the years in my life that matter. It's the life in my years that matter. That's what matters. Because theatre, teaches you about your strengths and weaknesses. And all success is or the virtue of all success is victory over the self. If we know what's wrong with us, that's thing to fix. Also, there's a saying that never be worried the audience is not listening to you. Be worried they are watching you. So theatre really is a place where it's not a speaking point. For us, it's a meeting point. It's a non-judgmental space. It's where we all grow. We grow together.
Lovely. Yeah. Very nice. And also, Bubbles, I would like to know your experience of, doing plays at the Kingdom of Dreams. It's such a beautiful venue to perform, and what a feeling you must be getting while there on stage. How was the experience?
Yes, that is true. Theater doesn't have many takers, and of course now we've completely, the world has turned upside down. We had a project with the Red Fort, and that's completely shut down. But Kingdom of Dreams was a wonderful stage. It had huge viewership, and so theater was given a larger podium, a larger than life podium. How was the experience? For us, the micro and the macro have the same qualities. Like the water and the ocean, a drop of water and the ocean have the same qualities. But just that every night for 150 shows, and mind you, there were 5-year-olds to 35-year-olds. There was a spate of age groups. And we were live. So it was at the backstage drama was unending. I think I could write a play because I'm a writer on the backstage drama.
Right. What goes behind the green room? And I'm sure the children got a wonderful exposure and experience to perform at a place which is like a world, it can be compared to a world-class, theater kind of a place.
Yes, absolutely. And it really empowers you. The one thing theatre teaches you is empowerment, personality builds. And that little 5-year-old today, she is so confident. She can take on the world, She wants to be a scientist. She wants to be an astronaut. I just couldn't believe this little actor wants to be a scientist. It's amazing.
Wonderful. And if you can tell the audience and me about the very popular, your play, The Buddha, Life of Buddha.
That's a play very. Madhavi, you opened a big box, a Pandora's box, because there's so much to tell over there. It's firstly, it's a play very close to my heart because I am now, at that time I was not, I'm now a practicing Buddhist. I practice Nichiren Daishonen's Buddhism. That time it was a play, it was a piece of theater to create value. Lucian and I believe theater must create value. The year was the same year the 9/11 incident happened because we were traveling with 16 actors and 32 bags. We were going to Washington to perform the life of Gautam Buddha. And 9/11 happened. 9/11 happened and our aircraft turned right around and came back to Heathrow. And everybody, looked out of the window and said, strange. This looks like Heathrow. I mean, where are we? And it was a gruesome incident because we didn't know what happened. We were in a holding bay. There were 40,000 of us at Heathrow. We had all these bags. It was chaos. We were like mosquitoes in a tin, I mean, it was terrible. But we went back and performed. So the play, in fact, started out of the mud, bloomed the lotus. Because even the Dalai Lama invited us to the Kala Chakra festival. We performed it over there in an aerodrome type of theater platform. We did almost 30 shows. Then we traveled all over America with it yet again. And in fact, your very famous actor Ranveer Singh was an unknown actor. He played our lead Buddha in Delhi when we did it for the president of the country. Yeah, Ranveer came saying, knocking on our door wanting to audition. And what a wonderful actor. He's really
now we know where the real actual stars come from. There is a history to them. There is so much that goes behind, the theater practices and all that makes them where they are today.
Yes, groundwork. Absolutely. Those are your roots. All your good actors are rooted in theater. Look at Nasiruddin Shah. I mean, they're rooted in theater. Absolutely. That's what gives you sturdy roots.
True. And some amazing actors have come out from our city, Delhi, especially NSD. I think Nasiruddin Shah and all these, who made really big names in the industry. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so true.
I'm really proud to say that I got an opportunity to have Bubbles and Lucian, both of you, to do a workshop for kids from this side of Delhi, and they really picked up and learned a lot from you. And I've also walked the ramp in the same fashion event by Anjana Kutiala ji with Lucian. So I do hope to have her also on the talk show someday. And I would like to inform the audience that Bubbles has published a novel with Penguin, Adventure Stories for Middle School, a self-help book, and Dude, it's about the attitude with Wisdom Tree. On value creation, she has been a columnist with Financial Chronicle for 10 years. So Bubbles, we would love to know Bubbles as an author and a columnist.
That's my avocation. Every young adult who comes to me, I tell them all, acting is a passion. It's a passion. It's like it gets under your skin, it really, it's born of the spirit. I mean, like for a painter, the joy is in the creation, right? For a pianist, the joy isn't just playing the piano. So the joy is in the creation of it, which never leaves you. It waters your soul forever. I mean, you can be 85 years old and still be a great drummer or a flutist or, it's evergreen. Same thing with writing. It's a passion. It's what I would do at 2 in the morning after putting all the kids to sleep and putting them to bed and everybody got to sleep. I take my coffee and go into a corner. That's where I really began writing. I wrote first my play Women in Black 12 years ago, which I performed, took to Dubai. I wrote it and acted in it. And that's where the beginnings of writing came. Being a columnist with the Financial Chronicle, writing on the business of life, actually was like going to the gym every day. Because every week I had to spin out these 500 words, which was great. Because every Tuesday I'd sit down and say, okay, Bubbles, focus. What is it really that you want to do? Because, Madhavi, often we confuse what we do with who we are. Now that global economies have crashed, I mean, we confuse what we do. If I'm the CEO of a company, I think I'm really on top of the ladder. But suppose the economy crashes. I don't have my Prada bag and I don't have my Lamborghini. We often confuse the bag I'm carrying. Everybody, all the youth I work with, when you ask them what are your dreams, to be a CEO, to be Bill Gates, to be Lakshmi Mittal, to be rich and famous. Certainly I want to be numero uno. But you have to work. no matter who.
Absolutely.
You don't just get up there.
True. True.
You know. So,
Yeah.
writing, to come back to writing, it's just something that's very close to my heart. Children are close to my heart. And I believe, actually, let me say this, Madhavi, you and everybody, if the people watching us, we all have a story within us. We are
True.
all writers. We are all writers. We have stories within us. If we go back into our history, we go back to our grandfather, our grandmother, we've got a fund of stories. We need to just dig it out, take it out. It's a treasure trove. We have to just get into, like Shobha Day once told me, she said, it's a skill. Hone your skill. Forget the rest. Feel the passion, hone the skill. That's it. That's what a good writer is made of. He sits and writes.
Right, absolutely. And I completely agree with you. In fact, the talk show is also named as Everyone Has a Story, because I also strongly believe, and I'm coming up with a coffee table book by the name Everyone Has a Story soon. So, very rightly said. And also, Bubbles, like you've acted on stage and in films like No One Killed Jessica and Veere the Wedding. So, working with the industry is best. What do you feel has changed about, the Hindi film industry or the cinema?
Um, I'm not very critical as as a cinema person. I'm not very critical because I'm always looking at the story element of what is told. And I think all art and culture, be it a Korean film, be it an Indian film, be it a British film, I think all art and culture, it's like the Ganga, like the ocean, right? It carries so much richness and heritage with it. I used to love, we used to have those, we used to have that City Fort film. There were a lot of foreign films that used to be shown at City Fort. Yeah,
That's right.
And and I feel there's a lot of heritage there. So there's a lot of kachra pachra also happens, Madhavi. You have lots of silly love stories, go around the trees, makes people happy. Anything that lifts the human spirit, I think, is of great value. I think the stage and film is the place where you try new things. Audience won't like it, they throw it. Audience is very critical. They throw it into the garbage can. But then they may like it. It may create a new trend. You may be a trendsetter. You may be a pioneer. So all those visionaries, creative geniuses, look at Satyajit Ray at his time. How he worked with detail. My God, his films were like to die for. The music, the detail, the storytelling. I mean, he took you into his world. He held your hand and said, Chalo, Ajo, come into my world. He didn't detach from them. So I think no matter what negative comes out, I feel there's a lot of richness there. It's the eyes of the beholder, Madhvi. How do you view the world? Do you view the world always critical, cynical, bitter, or do you view it like full of promise, possibility? That's what it is.
Beautiful, lovely. And there's every kind of audience, so you must at least try and express and put across what you have to offer to the audience. And then it's for the audience to decide.
Absolutely. They say that, there's a saying, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. They say that when the lion roars in the jungle, the lion is not the strongest animal. The lion is not the most fast animal. The cheetah is much faster. The lion is not the swiftest animal. But when the lion roars, everybody turns to hear the lion. Why? Because the lion believes I am the king of the jungle. So every director, when he makes his film, he believes, I am king for that time. Then it's for the audience to judge.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. Well said, I must say. And also, I believe that, Bubbles, you say that more than the sum of our parts, because one part is always searching. So if you can brief something about this. We are more than the sum of our parts because one part is always searching. It's really deep and I really loved it, and I would love to know that what's the depth about it, What do you mean when you say this?
Madhavi, all of us, we were at the age of 10 years, we were one person. We became 20, we changed, we became another person. At 30, we got married, or whatever we did, we became another person. At 40, you really began earning the life you're living. At 50, you earn the faith you have. So I also believe that we also keep changing as people because we also react to environments, circumstances, everything that happens to us. And always there's that one part which is you, very much you. You know, you can have your kids, you can have your family, have your husband, have your in-laws, you have all the interconnectedness of life, but there's one part that belongs to you. And that part is always looking to redefine yourself, reclaim the world, rewrite a story, retell a story. Now with the COVID and the pandemic, I tell the children we are BC and AD. Before Corona, BC, and AD after disease, because you're not locked in. In fact, we are doing a play and turning it into a film, Dushan and me. We say we are not locked in. This is a drawing room. We're going to turn it into a prison. We put little bars. It becomes a prison. You become the prisoner. Then you turn the light off, and then somebody else is coming. So you create, you improvise exactly where you are. You know, you don't have to. You're locked in, but your mind is never locked in. Yeah, you can always improvise. Yeah.
True. Well said. And like since you work a lot with youth and younger children, would you tell them that they could impact the world? How could they impact the world?
Yeah, this is a pet project of mine, Madhavi. A pet project. I also tell children that it's very important to have a sound. I tell the parents first, actually. Very important to have a sound philosophy in life now more than ever, because our roots are wrenched out. People have lost so much. It's an adverse time. I mean, the whole of the world is facing very adverse circumstances. It is because we are facing adverse circumstances, the human spirit can never die. It is because of that we have to display greater courage, greater wisdom, we got to get empowered. We can't let life beat us down. We just can't. We have to be empowered. And so therefore, so let me tell you the story I tell all the little children. I tell them the story of the parrot. Like the pandemic, there was a raging fire in the jungle, and all the animals ran away from the fire up the mountain towards safety, except the little parrot. The parrot kept calling them back and saying, "Don't run away. This is our home. Save it, save it." And he ran to the pond, and he would dip his feathers in the pond, come back to the fire, and spill the little droplets of water. And he kept trying to put the fire out and calling his friends and saying, "Don't desert your home. This is your home. Save it. Save the planet. Save your home." And he would run back to the pond, flap his feathers, come back to the fire, drop the droplets of water, unperturbed. And God, sitting up in his heaven, God shook his head in amazement. That really shook his head amazed. And when God shook his head, the clouds parted, and the rain came pouring down, and the fire got extinguished. So I tell the children, you have got the power to transform. I am the transformative force. Courage, perseverance, you can transform the world, because you'll amaze yourself, but you'll amaze destiny. Destiny will come and help you. And that's why I'm so attracted to Buddhism, because Buddhism says this. It says you and your environment are interconnected. So no point grumbling, crying. You've got to dig in. You've got to do things for the world. You've got to become the beacon of hope. That's the only way to go forward. Strong and stronger. That's it.
Very inspiring, I must say, and a very good story, especially for around this time, COVID-19. And Bubbles, the whole world is turned upside down with the pandemic, and economies have turned out completely. Life has become very different to what we have known it. What do you feel? What's your take on the world that's completely changed? How do you feel perceptions have changed?
Madhavi, I feel that all of our Google, everything tells us there was a Spanish flu. So things do happen. I mean, life, we all can get into a common crucible, which is so terribly debilitating. But it is, it's human spirit. It's always a human spirit that needs to work itself out. We have to get out of this COVID fatigue world. We have to get out of this world of despair and always going into the negative zone. We have to pull ourselves out. And I want to read a lovely little poem I read to my children the other day. I think it's very telling of the question you asked me, because sometimes we have to stay still and take stock. So let me read it to you.
Sure.
When the world is all at odds and the mind is all at sea, then seize the useless tedium and brew a cup of tea. And there is magic in its fragrance, there is solace in its taste. And then laden moments vanish, somehow, into space. And the world becomes a lovely thing. There's beauty, as you'll see. All because you briefly stopped and brewed a cup of tea.
Beautiful. Lovely.
So it's really us. We have to take stock. We have to, work more uphill. We have to tell ourselves we'll find a way out of this. We will do it, but together as a humanity, all of us.
So stay strong and stay positive, everyone. That's a beautiful message. And since we all have got so locked down into lives that have shrunk into being locked up in our homes, our lives have shrunk. How would you say we can add value? How do we add value to our lives, Bubbles?
I always tell everybody that you have to have a hobby, a passion. You have to have an avocation. Along with vocation, there has to be an avocation, Madhvi. Just because I own a piano doesn't make me a great pianist. I may own a golf club, doesn't make me a great golfer. But I have to have other things that stoke the passion. So how do you create value? For me, mine is writing. For me is theater. For me is my Buddhism. Every day I wake up and I'm told the same thing. Buddhism says that suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice because karma will keep playing out. So, I'm able to go through the darkness. Does the problem become much bigger than you and you become dwarfed? Or do you become much bigger and the problem goes into perspective? So, always, every day you have to evaluate day to day your life. I think there's a lot of beauty. I think every day there's a new gift, more so in these times when I hear such stories. I believe every day is a gift. And gratitude, Madhavi, gratitude and attitude. Attitude and gratitude. That's it.
Very nice and a very beautiful message. I'm sure the audience have loved it and they're liking all the inspiring words from you. So I would like to know, Bubbles, what are your upcoming projects?
Well, Madhavi, we are doing a lot of workshops with one lot of workshops are only with 5-year-olds. They're diction modules. Everything is on Zoom. Everything now because we can't meet the children. So we have workshops for young ones. We are doing a play which is going to turn into a film. We are writing plays, Lucian and me. We're going to turn that into a film. So we do all the Zoom classes. We're looking for people from 5 years to 17 years right now. We're looking for talent. So the next 2 months is involved with that. I've picked up an old manuscript which I had of short stories. I thought, hello, now's the time. So much coffee is being drunk. So may as well pick up the pen and pick up my coffee mug. So we're doing workshops and we're doing a play going into a film right now, Madhavi. And funnily enough, now that Zoom has also opened up possibilities. Lucian, my partner, is talking to somebody in New York. So we're going to be talking to children out of Delhi too.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so it's going to go more even wider now international because they can connect through the Zoom internationally also children all over the world. And they can always send auditions for your projects, whoever is listening in the audience as well. And as you know, Bubbles, the program is about madhvisluxury.co. I would like to know the definition of luxury according to you.
Madhavi, don't wrap my knuckles if I tell you what I think luxury is. I think good fortune is the wonderful home, is the comfortable car, is enjoyment on a beach or a luxury liner or a cruise. I think that is great good fortune. But luxury to me is freedom. Madhavi. Luxury to me is freedom to think, freedom of choice. Luxury really is to be able to, to say what I want and do what I want, no matter what. We are all in little boxes, Madhavi. We have to be a daughter-in-law. We have to be a sister-in-law. We have to be. Now I've just turned into a mother-in-law. Oh, just
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, I have to be the correct mother-in-law. So we all have these little boxes, where we have to live within those parameters. But luxury is when you can also have a spirit that can fly free out of the cage. That to me is real luxury, man.
Very, very well expressed, I must say. And also would love to know a message from you for the audience on COVID-19.
COVID-19, God, I hope I'm never never close enough to say. I just think that no matter what pandemic, no matter what adversity, no matter what grabs the world negatively, I think it's only people that can help. The commodity in today's world, I feel human resources is the commodity. Because again, thanks to my Buddhism, it always tells me to respect human life, living and non-living. Look what we've done to the waters, to the oceans, to the air, to the environment. Look what we've done, Madhavi. I mean, we have been so insensitive, so intolerant, So, yeah, you just have to become sensitive, tolerant. You have to understand that you, Madhavi, and me, somebody sitting in New York and me, we are all interconnected. The air we breathe, the oxygen we breathe, everything we're interconnected. Our plants, our oceans, our water, it is one. We are one. If somebody in China got the virus, look what happened. So we cannot let that bring us down. We have to rise above it. That's what I feel. I feel that even I know so many people who are in hospital, but their the willpower was as strong as everything else. They said, "I will survive." Like that song is, "I will survive."
Yeah, so one has to be really, really strong and have a very strong willpower. We'll all sail through it.
Yeah, and resilient. There's resilience and there's promise. There are two things. You have to just hang on to it.
Right, lovely, beautiful. And I would like to do a rapid fire round with you now, Bubbles. And I would like to ask you, according to you, it's name, fame, or money?
Name, fame, or money? I would say name and reputation.
Okay. And if not an actress or a theatre person, what would you be?
A writer on a beach. A hobo, unmarried gypsy, a gypsy writer.
So, like between a writer, actor, and columnist, you would be more of a.
I hope to God I could turn out to be a writer, tell stories which my grandchildren would tell each other, and therefore, to me, that is posterity. We have that narrative. The narrative goes on and on and on.
Yeah. And hard work or smart work?
Any day, hard work. Any day. Theatre, by the way, and the way we teach it too, is ground level upwards, including your Shah Rukh Khan used to be at Barry John's studio when Lilette was there and all of us were there. So, I mean, all the good actors know what hard work is all about. Yeah.
And I've personally seen both of you really working hard, Lucian and you both. Like the way you train the children, it's amazing. You put your heart and soul completely into the training of the children. And best thing about theatre?
I repeat, the best thing about theatre is it keeps you young forever. It's not the years in your life that matter. It's the life in your years that matter. It's the getting up in the morning, wanting to. The children keep us young. I mean, the amount of energy children have, Madhavi, you've no idea. Even during Zoom, running here, running there, you've got to really be, at par. But I wouldn't have it any other.
Yeah, I think that's the secret of you being young forever. That keeps you young.
I have to tell you a funny story, Madhvi. When the children say, I say, what's your name? How old are you? Then they'll say 5 and 3 months or 8 and a half. And I'll say, And I'm 35 till I die. All they hear is die. I say, listen, I'm 35 till I die. Don't get it wrong, okay?
Nice.
Yeah.
And if I can ask you to define love.
I think love morphs, it changes with the years, it changes its face, it has so many faces. I think love is got two components, Madhavi. One, it's giving space to each other. That's what love should be. And secondly, I think love should be responsible love, not irresponsible. It should be responsible. When I really love somebody, I care enough to bring the best out of them. That's what I always say a marriage should be. It should be two people bringing the best out of each other. May not always happen, but that's the perfect one. The perfect
Yeah,
one.
lovely definition, must say. And your favorite one-liner?
Oh gosh, I can't think of it. I think my favorite one-liner goes back to that cup of tea. You've got to just stay still and brew a cup of tea.
Beautiful.
To reassess, reinvent. At this age, I want to reinvent.
Good, nice, lovely. And your strategy in crisis?
Step back, breathe deeply, chant my philosophy, Namyo Renge Kyo. Since I'm a Buddhist, I sit back and I chant so I can clear my mind and I can focus.
Nice. And describe your 2020 in one word.
Not all bad, because I discovered the value and the breadth and the depth of Zoom, working with a completely new medium. You know, in January of this year, I was in Red Fort and we were working outdoors with a new sound and light show coming up with about a whole lot of actors. We were about 100, 200 people at the Red Fort and doing a completely outdoor show, working there. And suddenly come March, I was behind a box and we were working with 20 people behind a box. So discovering the richness of also working with Zoom, first positive. Second, my daughter, she got the bull by the horns and she went off to America in the middle of all this and she said, I'm having a court wedding. And I said, what, 2020? How can we have a wedding? She said, hello, you have to live life. That's how life is. And the wonderful thing is we had a wedding, 2020. But there was a lot of health problems too. With COVID, my husband had health problems. So it was very up and down. But by and large, Lotus out of the mud.
And congratulations for her wedding.
Thank you.
Your daughter's wedding. And what is one thing that no one knows about Bubble Sabharwal?
I think my temper. I keep it quite in check, but I think that's it. Only the little kids may know it, or my husband.
Yeah. And describe yourself in one word.
Very difficult to describe yourself, right, Madhavi? I would say resilient. Resilient.
That's nice. Self-discovery during the lockdown.
Every morning, keeping another roadmap. Every morning, taking out my list and saying, today too, this must get done. Today too, this will happen. That has been a great help these days.
To-do list every day. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And a health shot that you swear by.
Sorry, I don't hear you.
A health tip that you swear by.
A health trip.
Maintained, we want to know that.
I have to tell you, I'm not an exercise freak. My husband is, but I'm not. I'm a caffeine junkie. So actually, I would say walking and coffee. These two things in equal measure. These two things. And lots of laughter. When you say, what is it you wanted to do? I think I wanted to be an improv artist. That's what I wanted to be at one stage, an improv artist.
And last but not the least, an advice to the youngsters who want to pursue theatre as a profession.
Always keep your options open. Number one, theatre is not terribly paying at all. It pays completely in life terms. It's like life insurance. It is totally like life insurance, but the gains are much later. So keep options open. You must have a parallel track. And also the parallel track, when there's a downtime like now, all my actor friends, all my, poor things, they have no work. So there must be a parallel track to fall back on. Life always has to have plan B. Plan B must always be there. And number three, that it's a journey of self-discovery. So it's so much of self-discovery that never let it. Once the bug is bitten you, hold it close. Hold it close to your heart, because the richer your heart grows, the richer your life grows, I feel.
True. Very true. And a lovely message, I must say, makes so much of sense to all the people who want to pursue theatre or acting as a profession. I'm sure you're going to benefit with this advice. And thank you so much, Bubbles, for being here on the show. It's been a real pleasure and honor. And thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye, my dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For all those who missed the show, can watch it on my YouTube. The show is powered and supported by Padma Shri artist Kushti Kanai, artist Aarti Zaveri. I happen to be the luxury consultant with the brand Sari Sanskriti, and also the brand ambassador with Salma Sultan, as well as Aisha Khanna. She's an international fashion designer from New York, and her brand is Nora USA. And I also am supporting an NGO, Anudeep Foundation. We are having a contest for artists. So all those interested can participate in the competition and support the cause. As well as we have Deepika on board with us for any kind of wedding and festival requirements, gift packaging, trousseau packaging. You can get in touch with madhurisluxury.co. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. It's been real pleasure and honor hosting Sabharwal. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.